Never be ashamed of your process. Nobody knows what you've been through, so don't let someone else's uninformed opinion impact the actions you take. They do not know the battles you fight in silence. They do not know what you had to survive before you even reached this point. So why would you let them make you ashamed of the process that is building you? Why would you let someone who only sees the surface make you doubt the work happening underneath? You are not behind because your process looks ugly. You are not failing because your growth is quiet. You are growing. But growth rarely looks impressive in the beginning. Usually it looks slow. It looks like mistakes. It looks like repetition. That is the part people do not see. They see the struggle and think it means you are losing. They see the slow progress and think nothing is happening. But they do not see the growth that is happening in the dark. They do not see the discipline being carved into your character. And that is why you cannot let their judgment become your direction. Don't be ashamed of the process, because this is what success requires. Success is not built by looking perfect. Success is not built by avoiding embarrassment. Success is built in the part of the journey most people want to hide from. The uncertain, painful, and lonely part. The part where the results are invisible, but the work is still necessary. That is how winners are built. Not all at once, but through small private victories stacked until they become impossible to ignore. One promise kept. One excuse refused. That is the process. And if you are ashamed of the process, you are ashamed of the very thing that has the power to change you. Everybody wants the result, but not everybody wants the process. Yet the process is where the separation happens. The process reveals who only wanted the image and who was willing to become the person. So if you're afraid of judgment from those around you, ignore them. Those who judge do not matter. And those who matter do not judge. Remember that, because some people will have something to say no matter what you do. If you start, they will judge the beginning. If you struggle, they will judge the struggle. If you fail, they will judge the fall. But none of that should control a man who knows where he is going. You do not need the approval of people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You do not need permission from people who are comfortable staying the same. Because most people do not care for the process. They only respect the outcome. So stop trying to make the process look good for people who are not walking it. Let it be ugly if it has to be ugly. Let it be quiet if it has to be quiet. Just make sure it is real. Failure is not the end. Fail if you have to, but make sure you get back up and do it again. That is the path a successful man must walk down. At some point, you will fall in the process. You will misjudge things. You will get tired. But pain does not mean you are finished. Failure does not mean you should be ashamed. A man who never fails is simply a man who never risks enough to grow. A man who never struggles is simply a man who has given in to comfort. But you were not made to be limited by comfort. You were made to be tested. You were made to adapt. So do not let failure humiliate you out of your own future. Let it teach you. Let it show you what must be trained. Because the lesson is often hidden inside the thing that hurt your pride. And if you are willing to learn, even pain can become useful. Success is on the other side of pain. But because pain guards the door, most people refuse to walk through. Therefore, You must become the man who can overcome the pain to walk through the door most people can't. Become a man so focused on the goal, he looks obsessed. Become a man who refuses to quit. Because it is hard to beat someone who refuses to quit. That is the kind of man the process builds and success requires. A man with discipline and focus. And without discipline, everything starts to decay. Without discipline, potential means nothing. So build it. Build the discipline the goal requires. Do the things you don't want to do, but know the goal requires. Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. So set the standard and keep to it. The work matters more than the feeling. The future matters more than the temporary discomfort. You will not always feel motivated, but the process does not ask how you feel. It asks what you are willing to do anyway. That is where discipline becomes important. It is the proof that you are no longer ruled by comfort or emotions. How you do anything is how you do everything. The way you respond when you are tired, the way you act when progress feels invisible, these things matter. Because every small choice is training something. You are either training discipline or you are training weakness. You are either training focus or you are training distraction. And over time, the training shapes who you become. That is why you must demand excellence from yourself every day. You must uphold a standard, a refusal to drift. Ask yourself daily, did I get better today? Did I move forward? Did I feed the man I am trying to become? Or did I feed the weakness I keep saying I want to escape? Time is the one currency you cannot get back. You can lose money and just make more. You can miss opportunities and find others. But time does not return. Once the day is gone, it is gone. That is why wasting time staying comfortable is a very dangerous game, because time will move faster than you realize. And this is why the process is not just what you do with effort. It is what you do with time. It is what you do when distraction is easy. A man who has goals cannot let distraction steal his time. So get off your phone. Stop trying to be seen. Go do the work. You cannot scroll your way into the life you dream about. You must do the work. If you keep feeding your mind distraction, you cannot expect focus from your mind. Your eyes and ears are gateways. Be careful what you let enter, because not everything you see is in your best interest. Scrolling is designed to keep you stuck. Distraction will only ever lead you to a place you don't want to be. And these habits quietly undo the man you are trying to build. If you are serious about change, you must be serious about eliminating these distractions. Remove what keeps holding you back. Remove what isn't feeding the goal. Because real change is not just adding new habits. Sometimes it is cutting away the things that keep poisoning your discipline. And that is not easy, but it is required. You ask to become different, and different requires sacrifice. But what this sacrifice is may look different depending on your goal. For some, it is eliminating bad habits. For others, it may mean sacrificing time with others so that you can focus on your goals. There may come a season where you have to disappear and grow, because some growth cannot happen while you are still around what is holding you back. Some transformation requires silence. So disappear if you need to. Rebuild without announcing every step. Let people misunderstand the silence if they have to. You are not here to perform the process for them. You are here to become the man your goals need you to become. So stay focused. And if you feel behind, that is okay. Most people do. They spend their time comparing themselves to people they have never met, wondering why their life is so different. But everyone's journey is different. Don't be ashamed of where you are at in the process. If you feel overwhelmed by comparison, then disconnect. Disconnect from everyone and everything else and focus on you and your goals. Focus on improving yourself, because the average person feels trapped in comparison and is unhappy. Don't let this be you. Don't let other people's opinions hold you back. Refuse to accept average. At some point, being average has to become unbearable. Not because you hate yourself, but because you know there is more inside you than what you are currently living. You know there is strength you have not fully used. You know you have potential that you are not using. And that should bother you. Once you become aware of this feeling, it makes the old life harder to tolerate. And when that moment comes, do not drown in shame. Use it. Let it pull the buried potential out of you. Let it force you to stop negotiating with the habits that keep you small. You may be closer than you think. You may only be a few disciplined months away from becoming unrecognizable. But you will never know if you quit because the process feels embarrassing. You will never know if you let other people's opinions decide whether you are willing to try. And know that right now, someone else is working while you hesitate. Someone else is learning while you complain. That is not meant to make you bitter. It is meant to make you honest. If you are not willing to work, someone else is. If you are not willing to suffer through the process, someone else will. And this person is the one who will succeed. So make the decision. Will you be this person? Or will you let someone else take this dream from you? Make the decision. No more shame around the process. No more letting judgment from the outside weaken commitment. This is your process, your pain, your discipline. And if nobody else understands it yet, keep going anyway. The result will speak when the process is finished. And even before it speaks, you will know. You will know because your standards and habits will be different. You will know because your excuses will lose their power. That is the first reward, self-respect. The quiet knowledge that you are no longer betraying yourself. The quiet proof that you are doing what you said you would do. Never be ashamed of your process. Nobody knows what you've been through. Nobody knows what it cost you to keep going. Nobody knows how many times you failed and stood back up. So let them judge if they must. Keep working. Keep building. Keep stacking small wins, because this is what success requires. Process, discipline, growth, and the courage to stay committed while the work still looks unfinished. So do not be ashamed of the slow season. Do not be ashamed of the ugly beginning. Do not be ashamed of the days where all you can do is get 1% better. Because 1% is still movement. And the man who keeps moving forward is one who will succeed. It is just a matter of time. So keep going, quietly, without shame. Because one day, the same process you wanted to hide from will become the reason you finally stand tall. And when that day comes, you will understand. The struggle was not there to embarrass you. It was there to build you.